So over the course of the past couple months, me and my mates have been going to car boots every Sunday to see if we can buy anything to resell on eBay for a profit. And leading from the previous video I did on this, the reason why I haven't uploaded a video like this since is purely because of this one off-time purchase that I've made. And so as you can tell by the title of the video, I did in fact spend around £100 just on this bag of Lego. Having said that, before we get into the video, I'd really appreciate it if you left the like button blue, and if sub to the channel if you haven't already. I post all sorts of types of videos on this channel where we'll be talking about stocks, personal finance, TikTok, eBay, reselling. So for the sake of subbing to only one channel, you're getting this wide range of content. So why have I just spent £100 on a random bag of Lego from a car boot, probably from some random kids that they used to play with? Well, it's because I want to play with it. No, we're actually going to be looking into what individual parts of Lego are in this bag that we could hopefully individually sell, especially on eBay, and hopefully we'll be able to sell it over the initial value that I've spent on it. But you may be asking, well, why have I gone with Lego? Well, if I go back to my previous video, so that brings me on to the first item I look for, Lego. Lego is not only one of the most popular toys out there, it is also very common that a lot of people do collect Lego. What I love about Lego is that it holds its value very well, and a lot of the time it resells for a lot more than what it was originally bought for. And because you get all these certain niches that Lego has suddenly made, over time Lego stops producing some of these products, and when they stop being produced, anything original, even if it's not in the box and it's been used, the value holds, or if anything it goes up over time, as obviously because it becomes more rare, collectors are more likely to pay out more for it. So you see, Lego has a really strong brand recognition. Kids want to play with it, adults want to collect it. Lego also holds its value very well, and especially older Lego sets that are either unused or even sealed, the asking price for some sets that aren't even being produced anymore are through the roof. For example, when you look on eBay and you look at the older Lego Star Wars sets, some of them are selling for a couple grand and over. But obviously a lot of these prices come with the rarity of the item. But the main thing that I like about Lego is the fact that there's a high demand for it. And throughout the time that I've been reselling stuff on eBay, I haven't come across any Lego that hasn't actually sold. But first of all, I want to talk about how I came across actually buying it in the first place, and then I'll move on to the unboxing to see what we actually have inside. So as you lot know that I look for Lego in car boots, but especially I look for the minifigures, purely because they're so small so they're easy to send off and package, but also collectors love the minifigures. So what caught my eye was actually a minifigure of Woody from Toy Story. So I've never really known there to be Lego Toy Story, as I've never owned that as a kid, and I thought Lego Toy Story would be quite popular and I thought it'd be quite valuable. So when I went to look at it, just also to check that it is real, the lady selling it initially told me that I couldn't have it. The reason being is that the lady wouldn't sell it separately despite any offer that I'd put in. Now I don't know if any of you watching this have been to car boots before, but if you have, comment down below of how much money you actually take in cash, because I've never taken anything over about £70. Well, long story short, after I put this minifigure down, this woman suggested that I put in an offer for £120 for this whole collection of Lego that she had laying on the floor. My initial reaction was thought, well no, I'll just walk away, because there's no way I'm bringing £120 in cash to a car boot. That was until I asked her what was actually in it. And before you lot say anything, I just want to explain that I did have a rough idea what was actually in the bag, but trust me on this, I did not know exactly what was in there to the brick. I did have a very rough idea what was in the bag, but overall I was pretty clueless. But from this one item she said that was in there, I was tempted, but I wasn't interested. So I walked away, and as you do, I don't know if you lot have done this as well, but I got eBay up on my phone and I had a check of what she was offering. And to what I found, that I would be looking at a pretty hefty return if all the pieces were there. So this was the next risk I was going to be taking. One, I didn't know exactly everything that was in the bag, and two, I didn't know if all the pieces were there. There was no boxes and there was no instructions either. And for you lot that don't actually know, you can get all the Lego instructions up online on the website as well, all for free. So after checking eBay, I went back and I put in an offer. And to conclude, here we are after spending £100 just on a bag of Lego. I've got to admit, it was a bit frustrating on the day having to find a cash machine, go back to the car boot to pay this woman in cash because she wouldn't take any other option of payment. But I can tell you now, it was all worth it. Enough of the talk, let's get into the unboxing. So as you can see, there were just masses of Lego and I had no idea where to start. So my first thought was to try and separate Lego that I thought I'd need for one build, and to separate all the minifigures separately. And once I'd sorted out the minifigures, I noticed there's a fair amount where we had minifigures including Toy Story, Lego SpongeBob, Lego Harry Potter, minifigures from the Lego movie, Star Wars minifigures, and a bunch of other random ones including this one from Cars. As I say, I prefer to focus on buying and selling minifigures just because they're so tiny and I can package them up easily using these parcels here. Now once I separated all the minifigures to all the rest of the Lego, I can't stress enough how hard it was trying to build something through all these little pieces of Lego. And for about a week or so, I literally felt like I was a little kid with all this Lego scattered across my floor. But as you're about to see in a moment, all this hassle I went through was definitely worth it. So we managed to get our hands on the full Lego Simpsons house. Now as you can tell, I'm missing some pieces here and there, and I haven't actually quite finished it. I've just got a part of the upstairs to finish, as well as part of the roof to finish. But a couple of the blocks here and there, for example, the top of the chimney and above the window on the right. Also, I'm yet to build the garage, which is a separate part that clips onto the side of the house, as well as Homer's pink car. But so far, I'm pretty impressed with how the house has turned out, considering I just had masses of pieces just all spread across my floor. And so far, I've managed to build somewhat of that, so it's looking very likely that we have got majority of all the pieces for this house, which is one of my main worries. But if for anything that I can't physically find, whether it be one or two pieces, I can order them on Bricklink if I do need to. As for the minifigures for the house, I believe I have all of them for the exception of Maggie. However, I have looked online just to see how much Maggie's going for, and it's not too bad of a price. So I am thinking of buying her separately so I can add her to complete the set, so if I do come to sell it, I can know that there's no parts missing to it. Again, if I want to, the option is there that I can go on Bricklink and you can even buy the boxes, I believe either from there or the Lego website. Because I haven't got them here, if I do come to sell it, I can just sell it in the boxes. And I've had a look, and for the sake of about £10 to £15 to buy a box individually, it's definitely worthwhile when it comes to selling these online. Now, what I mentioned earlier about knowing what was in the Lego bag, the Simpsons house was the main thing that I did know that was in there. But it wasn't the house that got me so glad that I made this purchase. Whether the seller knew that this was in the bag or not, as she didn't mention anything about this being in there, there was also in fact the complete Lego set of the Lego Simpsons Quickie Mart. Some of you must be sitting there watching this thinking that I'm a complete weirdo for getting so gassed over kids' toys. Well, just to clarify why I'm so gassed, the current resale value, and especially on eBay, is around £300 for the Lego Simpsons house and for the Quickie Mart as well. And if I was going to buy both of these sets brand new, both are currently on Amazon for over £500 each. So in other words, in order for me to buy this brand new, I would have to pay over £1,100. So I've spent £100 to get something £1,000 off. Yeah, alright, I might be missing a couple pieces, but if this goes to plan, we could be looking at a pretty hefty return on this. Now, I've only just made a start on making the Quickie Mart, so I've only just got the base layout, just so you can see how big it actually is. And here I have all the figures, or the parts of the figures that I've found as yet, as I'm still actually going through all the Lego. And this is what I'm trying to get across, like how long it's actually taking. So yes, it is a bit of a long process, going through all the Lego, finding all the pieces, but what I'm planning to do is actually, for the meantime, keep both of the sets once they're fully built. Before I go ahead and sell anything, I want to get the full set, because all the sets that The Simpsons has released, I have. They've only released the Quickie Mart and the house, nothing else. Anything else that you see The Simpsons Lego is just something that a creator or someone has made that's custom. So all that I have left to collect are some of the other minifigures that I don't yet have. For example, minifigures like Mr. Burns and Maggie. So once I have the full collection, I'll then get a rough idea of the overall value of what that whole collection will be. And bear in mind, I spent £100 on this, yet alone the rest of the stuff that I've got in this, like for example the other minifigures and also the other sets of Lego that I haven't even bothered to build yet and sort out, my guess is that we could easily be looking at a return of about £600 or a £500 profit just on this one purchase. But obviously I've got a bit of a long way to go, because I've still yet to build the Quickie Mart and get all the remaining pieces for the other house. So that return isn't set in stone, but it's looking very likely that that could well be possible. But even looking at what I have so far, if I wasn't to sell it as a full set, and I even sold some of these minifigures separately, for example, some of these minifigures alone, for example Snake from The Simpsons, this guy is worth around £20 and over. Even these characters like Apu, I think you can only get some of these in the Quickie Mart set, which is why they are going for a bit more, and the same applies to Comic Book Guy. So if we break it down to how much we've actually got for £100 worth of Lego, we've got the Lego Simpsons house, which is worth around £300 if to resell it, or it's around £500 to £550 to buy it brand new. We've got the Quickie Mart, which is again similar price, £300 to resell it, or around £500 to £550 to resell. We've got the collection of the Toy Story minifigures to resell, which I've seen to sell to between £10 to £20. We've got the SpongeBob minifigures, which again probably sell around £5 each. We've got some of the Harry Potter and some of the Lego Movie minifigures, which again sometimes are up to about £5 per minifigure. Then we've got loads of random minifigures, for example Star Wars, Marvel, Lego City, with which all have various ranges in prices. I've seen some of these go for quite a bit, and we've got loads of the Lego Friends stuff, but I don't know too much about that, and hopefully you're thinking that you're glad that's the case, because that would be pretty weird. But I've got all that type of Lego to resell, and then it's just the random bits of Lego I've got left. Some Lego cars, Lego City. I will eventually come around to sorting the rest of that Lego out, but for the meantime I'm so chuffed with the fact that I've got this Lego Simpsons set here, as well as the minifigures on the side. So if it does come to it and I don't have the time to sort out the rest of the Lego, I'll probably just bag it up and resell that online just as a big bundle of random Lego. So overall, my predicted return from this £100 spent is roughly anywhere between £500 and £600. So I'm looking at a return of about 5 to 6 times my money. So if we had to ask ourselves how well we've done this, I'd say I've been pretty successful. Great success! But off the back of this, I'm definitely willing to take risks like this again and spend a bit more money. And fortunately for myself this time, it has really paid off. Anyway guys, I will leave the video there. I do want to do a follow-up video from this once I have finished the Quickie Mart, when I do get around to doing it. And hopefully in the near future I do want to be posting more videos around car boot reselling and videos just selling on eBay or just online in general. So if you don't want to miss out on those videos, sub down below and hit the notification bell so you'll get a notification when I next upload them. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, and I'll see you lot on the next one. In a bit.